Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll talk about cognitive distortions and how they impact your life. Cognitive distortions are biased or irrational ways of thinking that can perpetuate negative emotions and behaviors. These distortions often arise from automatic thoughts that influence our perception of reality, typically in a way that is skewed or inaccurate. Understanding these distortions can help us identify and challenge unhelpful thought patterns, leading to better mental health and improved well-being. Cognitive distortions affect our lives in numerous ways. Cognitive distortions are strongly linked to mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and stress. They can create a negative feedback loop where distorted thinking leads to negative emotions, which in turn reinforce distorted thinking. When it comes to relationships, distorted thinking can cause misunderstandings and conflicts. For example, mind reading can lead to false assumptions about others' intentions, while personalization can cause unnecessary guilt or resentment. Cognitive distortions can impair judgment and decision-making. For example, catastrophizing can make you overly cautious and prevent you from taking necessary risks, while all or nothing thinking can lead to impulsive or extreme decisions. Persistent negative thinking can erode self-esteem and self-worth. Disqualifying the positive and labeling yourself negatively can make it difficult to recognize your strengths and achievements. In academic or professional settings, cognitive distortions can hinder performance. Overgeneralization and magnification can cause you to avoid challenges or give up easily, while should statements can create unrealistic pressure. Now let's go over the common cognitive distortions. All or nothing thinking is seeing things in black and white categories. If a situation is anything less than perfect, it is considered a total failure. For example, someone who just starts going to the gym and eating healthy skips a few days due to feeling ill and ends up giving up completely because they already missed a few days and feel bad because of that. Overgeneralization is making broad conclusions based on a single event or piece of evidence. For example, believing that one negative event will continue to happen in the future. This may include statements like, "I always do bad on written exams," or "everyone who likes crime podcasts is a cruel person." Mental filter is focusing exclusively on the negative aspects of a situation and ignoring any positives. This can create a distorted view of reality. For example, you compete in sports and don't win a prize, and you focus on that, ignoring the fact that you got to visit a new city for the competition, stay in a nice hotel, and you got stronger and leaner while preparing. Rejecting positive experiences by insisting they don't count is disqualifying the positives. This maintains a negative belief even when there is evidence to the contrary. We often do this to ourselves, focusing on what we consider the negative aspects of our personality or appearance while completely ignoring the positive ones. Jumping to conclusions is making negative interpretations without concrete evidence. This includes mind reading, which is assuming someone is reacting negatively to you without actual evidence, and fortune telling, which is predicting that things will turn out badly without any basis. Catastrophizing is exaggerating the importance of problems or shortcomings. Anxious people are very prone to catastrophizing, which leads to more stress, leaving you in a vicious loop of stress and negative thinking. Emotional reasoning is assuming that negative emotions reflect the true state of things. For example, I feel it, therefore it must be true. We sometimes try to use logic to interpret feeling anxious. For example, you might be anxious about an upcoming flight. and interpret that as something bad is bound to happen, when it's really just anxiety. Using should, ought, or must statements to pressure oneself into doing something is another cognitive distortion we are prone to. This can lead to feelings of guilt or frustration. This can include things like I should be like this, I must do that, etc. Often, those things are not true, and it's not mandatory that you do that or be like this. Assigning a negative label to oneself or others based on one event or behavior, for example, calling yourself a failure after a single setback, is another cognitive distortion we are very prone to. Personalization is taking responsibility for events outside of one's control, or blaming oneself for something that isn't entirely one's fault. Recognizing and challenging cognitive distortions is a key component of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Here's how you can address cognitive distortions. Learning about the types of cognitive distortions is the first step. Becoming aware of and labeling cognitive distortions when they occur will help you challenge them. Evaluating the evidence for and against distorted thoughts and considering alternative, more balanced perspectives will help you realize that those negative thoughts are not accurate. Replacing distorted thoughts with more realistic and constructive ones will help reframe your thoughts. Lastly, you can test the validity of distorted thoughts through actions and observing the outcomes. Remember, cognitive distortions are very common thought patterns that can be changed and challenged. You can reframe your thoughts and with that change your life. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and make sure to subscribe for more content on physical and mental wellness.